We're coming live today with another conversation, another idea, another day that God has given us to speak about the things. We have a good one today. I'm gonna go live right now over there on TikTok. Also, give me 1 second. Everything is looking good. We're coming live again, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful evening, beautiful week so far. It's Thursday already, and we're coming live again. To give another more ideas. The Lord is good. The Lord is good. The Lord is moving. God is moving more than He's ever moved before. Right? Let me turn off the music right now. I like to listen to it before I come live. Just to get in in the frame of mind for us to come and talk about these things. Very interesting week. We're Thursday already. So we're going to be discussing a few things here still. The Holy Spirit, it's operating so much right now throughout the church, and the Holy Spirit is preparing us for the things that are coming. So I am speaking, 4, 5, 6 months ahead of time, 8 months ahead of time from the things that are going to take place. And as you all know, the channel, both channels are growing. I got last time I got 4,000 views on YouTube, guys. The 4,000 views. We like it over there on YouTube. It's the channel's I think 181 followers now. We about 100 in the last month, so steady growth over there. That means that the Lord is pushing His word. All we gotta make ourselves available for the Lord. He's gonna use our lives, and a lot of us are being prepared by God for some time. A lifetime. God has been preparing some of us and some of you here too. And God is preparing some of you because He's gonna, catapult you as well to the places. Now, normally I give my monologue, as you guys know, on here on the channel on both, platforms. We go into ideas and things that God wants us to talk about. We have an interesting. God gave me a verse, some verses right before I came on. Sometimes God gives me an hour before I prepare, a study, or sometimes it's like right before I come in, He gives me what we're gonna talk about. We have a few things, the Holy Spirit is going to open up, a little bit later. He's gonna expand on the things that we're gonna talk about. Now, let me in my monologue, I want to talk about a few things. There's I don't know if I said this last time. Did I say it last time? Maybe I did. Let me repeat it again, right? So I went to the gas station. I think I said it last time. I'm not really sure. I say so much that I don't remember what I say sometimes. But I went to the gas station and I talked to a lady there, and we are just talking about the gas prices and everything. And she told me that they're seeing that the projections right now, according to what they're doing within the gas industry, their gas just went up another, I think is like another 12 cents in about in about a 3-day period, right? Went up 2 cents and went up another 10 cents. So now I asked, I went into the gas station. I was talking to a lady, and she said that they're projecting right now that is gonna go up about 10 cents per week for the next going forward. That's how much the gas is gonna go up, and, it's alarming, it's alarming. I'm noticing also that some people that have very expensive vehicles that eat up a lot of gas, they're not driving them right now either, so, now, what does this mean specifically? We've talked about it many times here. We give a lot of description about what's coming, what's taking place, and I'm looking at more information. I'm looking at other experts and what they're saying, and everything is checking in. Everything is checking in. When I say everything's checking in, if you guys can do me a favor, guys. We only have 3 likes on TikTok. Whether on YouTube, you guys can get some likes. I'd really appreciate it. We only got 3 likes on TikTok. Can we get some shares and some likes over on TikTok? I really appreciate it. So now, is this alarming? I'm not sure if any of you guys have that watch the mainstream media. If anybody watched the mainstream media, can you guys let me know? Right here. Oh, he says his camper takes 450 to fill. Oh my goodness, that's what somebody said over there on YouTube. Oh, I'm gonna tell you, and I'm not laughing at you, brother. I'm just telling you. I was like, whoa. I was like, wow. Gee, let me. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna need to drink something for it. Just looking at that is like crazy. I want to say this to you, man, is that I over the years, that I've been looking at the information, and I'm very good with analytics, with numbers, with data predictions. I'm into that sort of stuff, right? I'm not looking at the stuff as much right now. For myself, I would say that I'm looking at people right now, and I'm looking at, you know, there's a lot of things that are being said on social media. One of the things I love about social media, just the internet or technology, is that as a society, we can actually it's a good thing. It can be a bad thing where people can go and express their thinking and their emotions, right, and how they feel. I think it's fair, just don't put too much of your dirty laundry out there, people. That's what I tell people. But I like that people are communicating, and it's helping people from different classes and different demographics, social statuses. That everybody's beginning to conversate. I really love about that. This platform right here, it's this platform are such a great tool to be able to speak on these things. Right now, I'm looking up a few more experts and what they're saying, and here's the interesting part though is that for myself, when I look at this, what they're saying in the alternative media, there's a very tragic uh set of events. I'm gonna say what I mean by that, right? The tragic part is this, and I'm gonna say this, right? Is that I would say that as a society, as the American citizenry, I think it's very unfortunate that the media, right, the mainstream media, it's supposed to be the information highway for us. At least in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you go back and look at some of the networks and stuff like that, there's a lot of TV shows that were back then, right? Back then, they actually used to sit down and used to do, informational content through the media and some networks, right? I don't know if you guys know that, you can go back to those years, right? I've seen some of them before, right? Where they help people a little bit navigate and prepare and stuff like that. That's not the case today. Right now we have networks that like the Discovery Channel and other ones where they make documentaries in a way making fun of like preppers, for example. I don't know if you guys know Discovery has those type of videos on. I used to watch them back in 2010, 2012 on YouTube, right? I used to watch those before. And what I'm talking about is that they talk about certain subjects, but they only approach it from one angle. And the unfortunate part is this is that a lot of people still, I couldn't say it's 60%. I say that about 30 to 40%, I would say, of people do tune into the networks. But what they make a segment on cats. They'll make a segment on a dolphin, right? But the mainstream media is not invested or interested in helping you out. You know, you got little old me with no funding and nothing, and a phone and an internet connection. And then I'm here, like, and I do love doing this. I like putting the information for people out there because I am hopeful that if one person, two people, three people, maybe 20 people get this information and then they're able to put in practice or at least begin to, make the moves for them to, prepare themselves and ready themselves, or at least be say, hey, I got to do this, because it's going to put them at the forefront, right? I like that. And but the thing is this, so is that I noticed that there's a segment of society who don't care, right? There's a segment of society where like, what's gonna happen is gonna happen and let it happen, right? I think that's a not such a good stance to take on what's coming, right? And I'm gonna say this, okay? If I want to talk from a logical perspective, there's a lot of people who will be a liability in our lives, right? People who are very they have cognitive dissonance and they rather call us delusional, they become alarmist or conspiracy theorists instead of them, taking the moments and the time, to take action and have a readiness and preparation. Does that make sense? So for myself, my idea right now, from what the Lord has shown me and spoken to many other prophets and people like that, is that the intention of God going forward is that you and I are going to be used by Him in the things that are coming. And one of the things that we're doing on this channel is that we're beginning to shape up. And I've been saying this on both channels the last like month and a half, or since the conflict started, is our identity of who we are. when it comes to God? What is our identity? What how do we identify as believers, right? And it's made some people angry on the platform, right? When we say this, when we're classifying what this religion is, what this group of people are. The reason why we're making those distinctions is because we have to understand that Christianity as a concept, a philosophy, as a dogma, as a tradition, as a ritual, those things do not work. Christianity. I'm talking about the when I talk about Christianity, I'm talking about the Roman Catholic invention of Christianity, right? That pagan, traditional, ritualistic, way of wanting to be in front of God. Those things don't work, right? Now, I alluded and I said many times in the channel right here. God spoke to me and others, prophets of God, right? And He told them that, and He told us that what's coming is going to be a whole nother level that's coming. See, I'm sitting here, I would say comfortably in a warm room, and I say these things, right? But in my mind right now, thinking about what 2020 looked like and what it turned into, I can't. I'm not. My mind is not really fully grasping what a magnitude of four, a magnitude of five of what 2020 was is going to be in the next phase. Right now, for myself, I would say when I was told this about about a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I was told this by the Lord, um, I wasn't. Logically, I wasn't seeing how it was going to happen or take shape in particularly, right? But I did think that the energy sector and gases and oil was going to be one of the ways where this is going to be crippled down. I'm talking about the world economy. That's what I'm referring to right now, right? So I thought to myself, if something's going to happen, it's going to be that. Now, one of the things that's very interesting too is that on top of the things that are taking place, there's going to be multiple things that are going to arise. Natural disasters, for example. You're going to have a famines and pestilence. At least a famine, right? If we want to go across the world, that's what they're saying right now, the experts. And the ones I'm listening to, um, I mean, a lot of the information they're giving, I already knew this information because I've been looking at this for about 10 years already about a worldwide famine. Now, and here's the thing. I was thinking about bringing you guys the videos tonight. I'm gonna have to see how I'm gonna do it because I won't be able to show it on YouTube because of the copyright and everything. I will be able to show it on TikTok. So YouTube, I'm gonna tell you guys, go to TikTok because I want to bring one of those videos. I think I might do it Sunday. Okay, I have multiple videos. They're a little bit long, but I want you guys to hear what the experts are saying, right? Because I teach, but there are things that there are people who are uniquely, specifically, are able to teach or give them divulge the information that are better than me at that particular area of expertise, right? So, but I think I'm gonna bring it on Sunday. So YouTube over there, you guys want to go to TikTok. I don't want to risk it on TikTok, on YouTube right now because we had a strike about 2 months ago over there. I don't want to risk it, so I'm gonna have to do that video over there on TikTok. So when on YouTube over there, if you guys want to see it on Sunday, same name, just go to TikTok and it's the exact same name on this channel right here. And I'm at a percent over there because over there we haven't had any strikes or anything like that over there. So, but I want to bring that to you all so you all can see what the experts are saying. Does that make sense? And that way you all can make your moves, your decisions. You guys can do the things that you need to do. Myself right now, I'm gonna start training and I'm gonna start showing my family how we're going to go about the different resources that I'm putting together. I'm going to teach them how to do certain things, in emergency situations. And that's something that I'm going to be doing with my nieces, my nephews, and I'm going to teach them. So whatever takes place, we're ready, and that everybody has, a duty or responsibility that they're going to take, right? And I think that's very important. If you have a network of people, start communicating with the network of people. Now, I'm saying this comfortably, right, from my living room. I cannot tell you what communication is going to be like in 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, or even a year or 10 months from now. I cannot tell you what communication is going to be like, right? Do I think this could escalate at any moment? I'll be honest with you. The last week I've been looking very closely to see in what manner. All I do know is that Russia right now, at least Russia, they're ramping up things, because I was saying on the channel last time that Russia wants to close, wants to finish what they started in Ukraine, because they're gonna China and Russia, and I believe I would say Turkey and India. I would say those countries, and probably South Korea most likely too. They're gonna start having the conversations and talking about what they're going to do in events where things escalate. And countries right now around, across the world, they're making the preparation. And this is the thing too. I heard right now from one of the experts that a lot of the nations that have the resource that export, right, that export, whether it be food, or and stuff like that, or oil or energy, they actually are said they said to the other nations, we can't do business right now. That's what they're telling them, right? Throughout the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, and Europe. So they're telling countries, hey, you know what? We're not going to be able to go through with that contract that we have with you, because we got to hoard it, because it's going to get intense. And here's the thing: some people are saying right now that we get into the place, and this is something one of the experts were saying, that we get into the place where we get into the place. We're going to get to a place where we're only going to have 10 meals left. 10 meals left. When he said that, I was like, "Oh my goodness!" I don't know if I'm making sense with what I said when they're making that kind of description. There's gonna be a moment where you're gonna have 10 meals left, and here's the thing: I want to say 70, 80% of people are not going to be prepared. And that's a conservative number. I think it's going to be more like 88, possibly 90%. I'm giving you guys a conservative number. They're not going to be prepared. Right. So, and one of the experts was saying this also, is that there will be civil unrest. And this is true, ladies and gentlemen. This is true. Okay. What I'm about to say. When a person gets hungry and thirsty, they turn into something else. It's true, right? Now, we haven't seen that in our lifetime. At least I'm not aware that we've seen it. What I'm saying to you is, when we see the history of the things that took place in Europe during the Second World War, the things that took place over there in the Middle East, also when there's been conflicts, and there's been, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, there were conflicts, you see the mass exodus that took place in certain regions. Right. So when we see those mass exoduses, and then you see that those countries they go to, they don't have the infrastructure or the ability to be able to bring those people in. I hope this is making sense. Now, the experts do say what I've been saying also, and I agree with them. In America, we do have a buffer in America. We have a level of sustainability. I'm talking about the resources are probably not gonna go scarce, right? But what's gonna take place is that the affordability is gonna affect a lot of people in America. The affordability. We do a lot of importing, you know what I mean? We actually do a lot of importing here, but we have the ability to. But the thing is this though, is that we have to understand something is this, is that the people who depend on the system are the people who are going to be caught off guard, and it's going to affect them the fastest and the quickest, right? Now, as somebody myself, right, when I look at this stuff, and yesterday I made a live, last night I made a live on another channel that I have, not this type of channel, but another channel that I have, where I once in a while give some kind of like this information. And I told that channel and the people who listen to me on that channel that I'm not I didn't want to I wasn't there to tell them to prepare. I told them, this is what I told them. I was like, if you're trying to prepare right now, I mean, I'm talking about secular people here, not us people of God. God is powerful. The people who are secular in nature, they're not going to have the supernatural protection or covering or help by the Lord. They're not going to have that. That's just not going to be a thing. I'm gonna read a little bit something right here in a second, but I just want to give you guys the monologue that's taking place. Pete Hegseth went in front of Congress. I think the last couple of days. I saw a video earlier. I don't know if it was the last week or the last couple of days. And the man just when I was listening to this man talk, is that these people are, I'm talking about, like, at least from what I see about them, they honestly do not care about what they're doing. They simply do not care. There's not a position where they're worried about the small man and the little people. They're not worried about them. Oh, people in government, they already made, they already have the, exit strategies, and they already have all those things. It's just the citizenry, and I do feel for the American people. Now, I'm gonna read something right here, right now, real quick. It's gonna be, give me a second. Let me pull it up a little bit closer. I'm gonna read a few things, and we're gonna. It's gonna be Revelation 22, right? Revelation. Oh, let me see. Let me see. Revelation 22:12. We read this before, but we're gonna go through it because the Lord wants. This is what He gave me earlier from me. So look at what it says, Revelation 22:12. Look, I am coming soon. My reward is with me, and I will give to each person according to what they have done. Now, this is Revelation 22. So let's say this was given in the year, let's even the year 90, right? The year 90. Now, when he's talking about here that his reward is coming soon, right? A lot of Christians take this passage, and they take this passage, and they're talking about the church. It is talking about the church in this passage. But what it's saying right here is that Jesus Christ in his second coming, right? When he says he's going to give to each person according to what they have done, is referring to the world also, right? What does that mean? That means that the lack of people, right, not repenting, the lack of people not wanting to seek out God, that is going to put them in a particular situation. We've talked about that many times, right? And let me show you guys right here also. It says, verse 13, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Then verse 14, blessed are those who wash their robes, that they might have the right to the tree of life and may go through the gates in the city. But look at what it says right there. Is describing to people a washing of the robes. We talked a little bit about that last time. I'm gonna open up a little bit more about the washing of the robes, right? So, but it's talking about something spiritual in nature in this passage right here, right? So, one of the things that I would say to you is this: is that when we look at the events that are taking place, the things that are going on, and how things are ramping up and escalating, and the events that are taking place across the world, is that we have to understand that there's a reason why God is allowing this. And I've said this many times on the channel, right? There's a reason why God is allowing the situations and the circumstances to come to be, right? And many times I'm gonna, because I know there's a lot of people that come in here and use. So sometimes I do repeat some of the things that I say, because it helps people start stringing things together for the new people that are coming on the channels, right? So I will say to you is this: is that uh, in relationship to the world, the world themselves, they don't have an answer. They're not going to have an answer to these things, right? And I will say this: the unfortunate part is that you know a lot of people who have small businesses in America, the small businesses, we're gonna see a closure of about possibly 80-85% in the next 3 years, right? And that's on top of already the other 30%, 35% that closed their doors as of 2020. I think there's about 30-35% or something like that that had to go into either close down their door or close their doors or go into bankruptcy, and a lot of businesses, right? But when you look at the rest of them, a lot of the other people who are in business right now, and I was watching, by the way, I was watching. I do a lot of research and studying, like in Asia, like China, Japan, those countries right there, right, in the East. And I was watching some videos about business owners in China, right? Business owners in China, and what happened to a lot of business owners for 2020, right? And then now I was watching some videos are fresh information that from 2 months ago, and they're saying how detrimental the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, and the type of impact that is taking in Asia in real time. And that's exactly what I was saying. That those regions of the world, they're going to see these issues in the first 3 to 4 months, right? They're going to see these issues. We're going to see the issues hit our doorstep 7, 8, maybe 9 months out. So a lot of the business owners in Asia, right, at least in China, I want to say, a lot of them, they have to go because it's just that a lot of the trade that takes place into the Strait of Hormuz is affecting taxation, right? There's also taxation is one of the things, and they're implementing fees and stuff like that. So even if they get their supplies, even if they get their whatever it is that they do when it comes to commerce, right? By the time they get the product, their margins are already. And remember, let's forget something. A lot of the people who move, products through through the infrastructure, they are up front. They put the money up front, right? So if something costs a consumer is willing to pay $100, a consumer, right? They let's say buy it for $65, right? They pay a tax on that, and they say now their cost is 110, 115, right? And they have to bump up that price up to from $100 up to 125, 130, 135. The consumer is not going to go and pay that extra. They won't do it. I mean, most of us won't. It's just the thing, right? It's just the thing. So that's where the problem is. See, at a micro level, when we look at it from that perspective, those extra three, $4, $5, or a spike that's going to be taking place every 10 cents, every 20 cents, every 30 cents, every 50 cents going forward is taking out of people's profits in general when it comes to business. And that could be a farmer, that could be somebody who sells furniture, that could be the Uber driver. I couldn't even imagine what's going on with the Lyft and the Lyft and the Uber drivers right now. Obviously, right? And obviously, Uber and Lyft, they're gonna have to adjust that price, and that's gonna hit to the consumers, right? So now the reason why we're talking about these things right now is that because the truth is this, ladies and gentlemen, the world has no idea what is about to hit them, what is upon them. They don't know yet, right? And this is what I was about been saying to you, is that when the mainstream media, when they first talk about these things, the minute the segment comes up, it's already too late. What I mean too late is that need to prepare or take action, it's already too late, right? Now, will there be some people who are going to be able to act quickly and be able to get the resources, or make the moves for them to, mitigate their losses in general? Yeah, there's going to be some people who are going to be able to do it, who have done it before, but the average person is not going to be able to do it, right? So I would say this right now. I would say that my prediction, just logical prediction or logical deduction when it comes to what's coming very soon, this is going to be 4 or 5 times bigger than what COVID was. That's what I'm seeing right now, about 4 or 5 times bigger. Now, if there is a pandemic that's coming, and they're talking about multiple things right now, there's reports of multiple viruses out there right now. I'm not going to get too much into those things about viruses because of the algorithms. That's like, they don't like it when we talk about that at all. Yeah, I don't want to get, strike down right now, or get the lives taken down. But there's those things are coming, right? Now, when it comes to a famine, because there's going to be regional famines, and there's going to be also the famines. So is what we're gonna see is we're gonna see regional famines, mostly in places like, I would say, like Africa and Western Europe is where we're gonna see famines, right? Possibly northern Europe as well. Um, but expect things to happen also. Turkey is going to have problems. Afghanistan, Iraq, all those countries are going to have problems. And then we have India as well. India is going to be affected majorly. So is China. Japan, I think they're going to be all right. But I think mostly China, Turkey, India, right? So now here's the thing. I was listening to the experts again, and the conversation keeps coming up, and it keeps being said that this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is a eugenics. This is a depop. Oh, for entertainment purposes only. Oop. Entertainment purposes only. Algorithms. This is a depopulation operation, right? And here's the thing, though. Um, I understand why yours truly right here and Pete Hudson, they don't care, because though they're not the main players and the ones pulling the strings in the shadows, they're they're the puppets. Even though that's the case, they still have a privilege and an advantage that we don't have. Give me a second. So give me a second, guys. Somebody is guys including events. Okay, I'm just I try to let me see. Oh, okay. I don't know. I try to keep track of the lives in case I see something that as inappropriate, right? And let people thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Also, give thanks to Chris and Tammy over here on TikTok, and Chris is over here on YouTube. Can you guys give them thanks for me? They help out the channel a lot, y'all. I focus more when they're here because when they're not here, I have to go over there and do movements over there myself. I try to focus. That's what we go through things a little better now. When I first started, I had no help. So thank you all. Thank you. Thank them. Say thank you to them, and God bless them also because they're working hard over here for us. 2 hours, it's dealing. They also do a few things from here, like block or limit people when they're saying random stuff in there. Anyway, so let's keep going. All right. So let's talk about this part right here. Okay. So the question is this though, is that another thing when we're talking about the elites, right? Is it something that now is this biblical in nature though? I'm gonna say this because I talked a little bit about this last time. Oh, they just took me down over there. Uh let me see. Give me a second, yo. Let me see. Give me a second. They're giving me over there a strike over there on I don't know if I don't know if I'm live still on TikTok. They removed me from TikTok, yo. They removed me from TikTok. Let me see. Yeah, they just took me down from TikTok because of the things that I was saying. Let me see. Yeah, they removed me from TikTok. Told you guys that we're gonna do it. So yeah, they gave me a strike over there on TikTok because of things that we're saying. All right, guys, see how that works. Um, so yeah, let me double check real quick, see if they'll let me go on here over there. See these algorithms, y'all. It's so sad and so sad that the algorithms. So it says into the third, I won't be able to come live until the third. Let me see. So they gave me a 3-day suspension over here on TikTok. See, that's the thing, guys. Do you guys notice how the algorithms? Let me see. Let me see if I can be able to go live. I just made an appeal on this right now. Give me a second. It's very sad that as a like they're how they're limiting this. If we're talking about things that are important, notice how let me turn it off over here on I'll keep it over here on it's very sad. You guys see what I'm talking about when it comes to them limiting the information, right? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Tell her to come over here. Uh, but if you guys look at it's very sad because I was actually this is stuff that's actually on the at least the alternative media is talking about this, right? The alternative media is talking about it. But for TikTok to take this stance on things, let me see if they don't let me sometimes let me go live over there again. Yeah, so they got it says May 3rd. I appealed it. Sometimes they'll give me the appeal. Let me double check over here. It says reviewing. So it says review. Sometimes they'll let me back in. But as you guys can see, the sad part is this is that when people are not receiving the information, when people are not going to be able to hear what's being said, to them they say it's misinformation, to them they say it's something that they don't like to be talked about, right? And I think it's very important that we acknowledge let me take this off for a second. That I think it's very important that we acknowledge um, the importance of what we're facing. And I think to me is very, very it's very sad, you know, because if they're able to do this now and control the information like that, what's gonna take place when we're in the middle of it? Does that make sense? And I for myself, I think is it I think in general, I'm gonna start doing something. I think what I'm gonna start doing pretty soon when it comes to the channels, I want to see if I can find a platform where we can actually discuss these things more openly. I'm gonna start looking into that because I think Discord might be a place. I'll see if Discord would be a place we can do it. But I just see that there's just too much restriction, and I when it comes to the let's say having this conversation in the vote because you can go and talk about anything right now on social media, right? You can have the either Republicans or you can have the Democrats talking about anything that has to do with, you know, making allegations, for or against, a political party. But when you specifically talk about things that are very important, let me see. Let me double check right here, guys, if I'm able to go live. It said appeal not approved. They didn't approve it. All right. So they didn't approve it on TikTok. Now I want to say to you about this, right? So what I recommend to people, I don't know if anybody came from TikTok. No, it's only got 14 people on YouTube right now. So what I will say to you is this. I want to tell you this. Prepare, guys. Prepare quickly, fast. Make your moves quickly because when you go on the social medias and you go look at every single type of different content that that people are talking and they're saying, but when this particular thing to them they're classifying it as misinformation, this is very dire, very dire. Oh yeah, we got people from TikTok. It's very dire. That the situation is very dire. And here's the thing, though. I'm gonna say this to you guys right now. Also, is that um I understand the part where they can say that people could panic, that people could actually, go into a frenzy when it comes to this stuff, right? But the fact that they're actively doing that and the algorithms are doing this, that means that they have in place, they're putting in place a regulation already. Does that make sense? They're putting in place a regulation, and this is very sensitive information, though. Very sensitive information because when we talk about the events and you cannot criticize certain things, when we're talking about, I think they probably talk about depopulation and possibly, I think that's the reason why they want to take, because that's something that's going to take place. Depopulation is something that's active. That it's an agenda that these people have, right? And if we cannot call them out for what it is, that means that what I'm saying has credibility. That's what it technically means. That the things that I'm talking about, and where am I getting this information from? Also, right? Question mark. So if they're gonna limit and they're gonna restrict, they're gonna suspend, and they're gonna limit how we're doing things, that just means that the information that I'm putting forward is true, right? And for example, like another topic that's very censored on social media is also like the flat Earth theory and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys know that. One of the other there was a congressional hearing about the flat Earth theory, right? I don't know if you guys know that. You guys should look into it. But yeah, they restrict anything that has to do with the flat Earth theory. And then YouTube admitted and saying that they put in things into place where the algorithm was gonna throw anybody who talks about that. They were gonna censor it. Why would they censor the flat Earth theory, right? Because we can talk about anything else, right? We can literally talk about anything else except the things that they're saying that we shouldn't talk about. When you look at that level of control, ladies and gentlemen, this is alarming. This is alarming for myself. As somebody who's been looking at this for the better part of the last 15, 20 years, um, to me, it's very detrimental of the fact that they can flat out just try to silence people, and that was the restriction they gave me over there for misinformation, right? So, and I see people talking about this all over the place. Here's the difference, though. You want to know what the difference between what people talk about this, right? Is that I'm giving you more of a specific idea, and we're narrowing down to the people who are doing this stuff. I'm surprised they're not taking me down over here on YouTube because they've done it on YouTube. Like three years ago, they took down one of my channels a few times because I was talking about conspiracy stuff. Now I'm gonna give you guys a little bit more time here on YouTube. It's a little bit of a different format over there, but it's fine. Now let's talk about this part right here because I know some people came from TikTok. I myself, I'm gonna find a way that I can have some type of and I'm gonna let you guys know when I figure this out. I'm gonna try to see if I can find some kind of analog system, maybe some type of frequency. I'm gonna have to look a little research, and I'm gonna let you guys know what type of units you guys can buy. Maybe like walkie talkies or some kind of radio. Does that make sense? So because even if we may not be able to comment on a live like this video, I can get on some kind of frequency or some type of radio signal, and you guys can tune into that frequency, and I can give information through that also. So I'm gonna look into that pretty soon. Does that make sense? So I'm gonna see if I can do that because I do see. I don't know if you guys know this. Also, Donald Trump right now and the administration, they're looking to censor Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know what he did this time. I haven't looked into it, but they're looking to cancel him again. And they're telling the networks, the FCC is actually handing down orders, federal orders, to the networks to not to deplatform basically Jimmy Kimmel because of the things that he says. Right? Says Rumble is a free speech platform. I think I might have to do that. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Wow. See, oh, I don't know about that. That's not Anita. I did. Oh, yeah. I'm about to look into it. But Anita right there said that he made a comment about. Oh, I don't see, guys. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I don't like it when they myself, right? Even though I don't like Donald Trump personally, I don't like him as a person. But I personally don't think it's okay for people to say, wish, him not being amongst the living. And not to mention the first lady. I don't think we should. I don't like it when they talk about the first lady, especially any of the first ladies. Those are their wives. I think that society needs to respect the ladies, the women. Those women are there. They're the leaders of the world. They're the wives. We should never, unless it is something terrible, like I don't know, something horrible. That'd be a different. So I always think to myself, it's inappropriate to talk about, especially I don't know what her past is. I kind of have an idea specifically, but I don't think it's appropriate for people to do that. It's wrong. It's kind of shady. If we have a problem against Trump, let's talk about Trump. Let's not talk about her, but the women, right? We need to respect that. But anyway, I'm talking about Jimmy Kimmel should have said that. So I'm gonna say this to you right now, okay? Um, I think we are entering a time, ladies and gentlemen, that this the information that we're gonna devote, and I've given a lot of information on these channels. I love that. And then on YouTube, like I said, people can come and watch this lives and the repeats and they can rewatch them on YouTube. So I love about YouTube too. So what I would say to you is this: prepare yourselves, right? Because I think that there's a major isolation that's coming, right? What I mean by isolation is this: is that I think that their idea of 2020 that they're going to implement is going to be where I think there's a high probability of this, and I'm seeing it now because of this, them censoring like this, that I think that the powers that be, they're gonna start to control the internet even more. I'll tell you guys what I mean by that. When there is natural disasters or there's an escalation, right, through the world powers, right? When there's an escalation with the world powers, and there is a place, let's say that there is an imminent threat directly, let's say to the West Coast or the East Coast, maybe either through maybe Mexico or coming from somewhere in Canada, or maybe even the part of Alaska and those areas over there, right? If there's some type of escalation in that matter, I think that they are going to use executive powers to bring down the internet. I think that's next in their playbook. So what does that mean? The same way that China and Russia control the internet, and also they do it in Israel too. The way they do it in those regions, right? When there is a conflict or some kind of escalation militarily, they limit the way people communicate, right? And that's how they've been able to keep have a block. And that's what they did in Russia, in Ukraine also. They did that in Ukraine when the war started over there. There was even some. I don't know what happened to those. There was a few reporters that were actually arrested by the Ukrainians, and they were taken. I don't know what happened. I have to go back to see the story of this man that he was scared for his life because he was in Ukraine and he was reporting, and he was actually closer to the front lines and reporting a lot of things that were going on. So I'm gonna say this to you is this. Um, I think that somebody said. I think. Let me see. I think they said. Give me a second. Was it Discord or Rumble? Okay, yeah, I heard Rumble. I think Rumble. I think you need to have a membership on there. I think you need to have a membership, and I think you have to pay for the block of time. That was a few years ago when I looked at it. I'm gonna look into Rumble for sure though, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start merging the audiences, and then I have the technology to be able to go live. I have everything that I need. I have. I just don't know how much it's going to cost. I don't know if there's a membership fee or something like that. But obviously, people give donations here, so the donations that you guys use, I'm gonna use it to expand more. But the channels are growing, and then we never know how big God is going to make this thing go. Right? We never know. But I think that I've invested a lot of money towards it myself. You know, that's for the glory of God, you know, for the love of the things that I do for God. I've invested a lot of money in this stuff, but at the end of the day, I want to be able to, you know, I think them restricting, you know, through the social media platforms, but also it's not so much the social media that I'm concerned. I'm mostly concerned when they put restrictions on the internet, on the servers, right? That hold this a lot of this information. So I'm gonna look into what you guys are saying, right? Um, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna start looking into it pretty soon. And like I said, let me double check this right here. They did not approve it. Not approve it. Appeal not approved. So it's telling me I can go live. Let me see. May 3rd. So in 4 days, 4 days, 2 days, 3 days from now. All right. Well, it won't take that long. Normally I'm very careful. I think I get a little bit too comfortable. Every single time I talk about here's the funny part. Every single time I talk about the elites, guys. Every single time that I've been suspended is because I talk about the elites. And the thing is this though, is that when I hear other people talk about the elites, and I'm gonna tell you guys this, they don't give the type of information that I'm giving. And that's why I say sometimes on the channels when I'm live and I tell you guys there's something that I can't say on here because there's other information that I have and other things that I know that if I put it forward in the platforms, then that's when the algorithms start picking up on those things, right? And I've been very good at last like four like last time I suspension, I think it was back in December or January. I had a suspension also. Um Telegram is a wonderful idea. What I want to do is, Telegram. I know it's pretty good, also Telegram. But what I want to do is, I want to be able to come on live and be able to somewhat interact and everything like that. Like I said, these platforms are great for that. Anyway, so let me continue, guys. Let me continue. We're gonna talk about this now. When it comes to I have 13 people here. I've been with two, three. If I had two, three people, I'll still be live. So let's talk a little bit more about this. I know some people came over. Now, let's look at this part, okay? Let me um let me look up something real quick, and I'm gonna give you guys more of an idea about this. I think it's Revelation 16. Give me a second. Let me pull this up right now, and then let me see. Revelation. It says 16. Is it might be 13? Give me a second. Oh, what happened there? Let me see. No, not that one. Revelation 13. What is that? Okay, I'm gonna give you guys this right now. It says, give me 1 second. Okay, so check it out. So one of the things that we need to understand right now, I'm gonna read this part to you. Just came to me, Revelation 13:7. Right, look at what it says. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. Look at what it says right there. So I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this next time when I'm able to go live over there a little bit more. But look at what it says once again. It was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and it was given authority. Right? This is the beast. I think it's referring to the second beast. I think that's what it's talking about right here. Let me see. Give me a second. Yeah, look at what it says right here. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 horns in his crowns, and on each head had a blasphemous name. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and mouth like those of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and authority. So let me explain this part to you guys in Revelation 13:2. Revelation 13:2. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and mouth like that of a lion. the dragon gave the beast his authority and his throne and great authority. So when it talks about the beast, the dragon right here is referring to the conglomerate of entities in Ephesians 6, right? And the satanic, I can't call it is not. I'm not gonna call it demonic because what the word uses when the Bible uses the word Satan is referring to like a confederation, a confederation of beings who are merging together to carry out basically an operation, if you will, right? So when it talks about right here, when it says right here, this it gives a the dragon gave the beast his authority, it means that the kingdom of darkness, right, is going to give, right, the antichrist. So what's going to take place is this. I'll explain this real quick. When God exits the bride and when God the apostle happens and the Holy Spirit retracts, God is going to hand the system over, right, to the kingdom of darkness. That's what's going to take place. So God's going to hand this over to the kingdom of darkness. So one of the things that we're going to see, one of the big things that we're going to see going forward is also control, and they're going to start putting out in the pieces in place. And technology is one of the ways that we're going to do it. They're going to do it, right? So they're going to start putting the pieces in place. The powers that be, they're going to be putting the chess pieces in place because the more control, there's going to be a power consolidation amongst the society as well. I hope that makes sense. So what we're gonna witness going forward, and this is one of the reasons why Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth and they want to use executive orders to for the FCC, right, to regulate more. And they're saying that they're gonna be coming after the platforms. They're gonna be coming after the platforms to control information or call it misinformation or disinformation. They're gonna call it either one, right? And that's what TikTok just said to me that it was misinformation. That's the reason why. So they're using certain terminology to be able to legally, right, according to them, because that's how big tech works. So big tech, the FCC and the administration, they're gonna start going. They're gonna start using executive powers, federally speaking, to governing bodies like the FCC for them to regulate our information and what we're sharing on social media. So I'm gonna say this. So how do we know that there's a control, right, in a censorship that's coming? That's how we know because the entire system, right, the telecommunication industry, the media, the governing systems, all of those are going to be, you know, come together and they're gonna start putting basically a wall of restriction. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. The one way that they're gonna be able to do it is so divide and conquer is one of the ways they're gonna be able to do it. So what they don't want, what the powers that be don't want, the last thing they want is for people to start actually telling the truth, saying truthful things, because that is detrimental to their agenda, if you will. Because I mean, we're not gonna society in the world is not gonna be able to technically do anything about it in the sense that they're not gonna be able to go over there and overthrow a system, right? A governing system. They won't be able to do that. But the possibility exists that they could put up a struggle. And that's the last thing that they want is for society to wake up. And here's the thing though. I think it's too late though. And what I mean by that is that social media is so powerful that at least I've seen the videos of people, even some veterans, have come on social media and they've said, "Hey, let's start talking. Let's start meeting up. Let's start training," and that's taking place. And obviously, social media, geofencing, geotagging, and GPS and all that, they have all of that. They know where the groups meet, everything, and they're using AI, very advanced AI systems, because it's easier for them. AI is doing all the work for them anyway. So, let me drink a little bit of this. I'm gonna say to you all this is right now. I have them right here too. So let me grab these right here. I got these right here. I'm gonna teach my family. I'm learning how to use these. walkie talkies. These are going to be really good for emergency situations. But I want to see which frequency. I gotta do a lot of studying on this to find out what frequency is going to be the most reliable because what's coming, I do have the suspicion, and I do have the suspicion that they will are gonna control, the information highway that the internet is. They're gonna highly control it. You know what I mean? So I would assume right now, at least going forward, from what we see, the algorithms already is being optimized for it to target, limit, and silence people who are talking about this stuff, right? So again, the thing is, this is funny because last time we had one of these, strikes was, I think, what was it, like, I think it was January. I think it was late January when we had one. We haven't had one since. That means I was doing a good job. But as the algorithm changes, and how they're doing business changes. So I think I'm not gonna use the word elites anymore, or powers that be. I think that's probably the best one. But elite, see, and it's funny though because how much is it? How detrimental is it to them when one person is talking to 20 people here, and I had about 50 other on TikTok. How detrimental is the message, you know, or how bad does it make them look? You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is this, guys, you can be a Democrat or Republican, and you can sit there and borderline almost insult this man right here, and they won't take those channels down. Even there's channels out there that do debates, and they go really, really heavy on the way they talk and the way they talk to each other and all that, and they don't take them down, right? But when you tell the truth, that's where they're having a problem and an issue with themselves, right? Does anybody have any questions by any chance? Anybody have any questions? Anybody has any questions about anything that we're talking about? Now remember, guys, when I give you guys Revelation 13:7, is that the more we know and the more keen and aware we are of what we're about to face going forward. And I would say this, but I did see this recently in the news because of Jimmy Kimmel, that they're saying that the administration, and they attempted this before when they tried to cancel, it was Jimmy Kimmel too, right? Was Jimmy Kimmel the one who said? Yeah, when they tried to cancel him last time, and when yeah, 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 Elizabeth. Yeah, what Elizabeth's saying is truth right now. So remember, their game is divide and conquer. That's their game. That's the MO. And if you go look at history, in the times of they being able to limit societies or even extinguish societies, divide and conquer is how they do it, right? Divide and conquer is that's where their strength is, right? So, like I said, to them, I think anybody who speaks and exposes who they are and how they operate, to them is a threat, and I will say it is too. I would say it's a threat, because um, at least I hope, I think that, my audience here, we're not violent people who are gonna go do things like that. I don't think we're that people, But there are people out there who are not us that would probably, like the guy that supposedly that did the thing over there at the dinner that Trump was at over the weekend, right? See, the one of those people is a different story, though. There's a lot to be said about that. There's a lot of experts that are talking about whether it was fake or all of this. There's a few high-ranking people who are talking about whether it was fake. I don't know. Hold on, give me a second, guys. I don't know what this is. In a second. I don't even know what's going on right now. Why somebody's calling me over here somebody's calling me on a on Telegram. I don't know. It's the scammers, by the way. I don't know if you guys know scammers are all over Telegram too. Oh, there's a scammer calling me right there. That's funny. So let's go back to what I was saying. So I would say to you all is the following. Okay, I'm gonna say you all the following is this: is that there's an opposition that's coming, right? In general, there's an opposition that's coming, and like I said, I'm gonna take the steps myself right now, and I'm gonna figure out how we can communicate, how we're gonna are gonna talk and share information. Here's the thing, too, ladies and gentlemen, is that these conversations, the studies talking about God, this is amazing. But another thing too is that when things take place, right? When things happen, when there's a natural disaster, there's an earthquake, or there's maybe a famine, or maybe the infrastructure of the telecommunication industry is brought down or it's affected in some way, being able to communicate. Some of the experts say this. Some of the experts I've worked, like for example, during Hurricane Katrina, right, or some of the experts have been in other major disasters. They said that yes, having life skills and essentials is good, but they said that the most important part is comms, communication. Communication is the more important thing when things happen where you know the power grid goes down or the cell phone infrastructure goes down. The communicating and getting messages across and warning people with imminent threats, that's the most important part during those emergency situations. So I want to give you all that those ideas. Uh, Take action. If you can invest a little bit, take some money and invest in comms. But I do believe that what they're saying when the experts in this type of field, when they talk and they refer to these things in that manner, and I do believe that that's true. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm about to get off in a bit. I'm about to see what I can do with this. Maybe I can appeal it a few times. I will be coming live Sunday. Oh, hold on, give me a second. When is this? Because I don't want to risk it over there on TikTok. But give me a second. Let me just look at my calendar because I was thinking about bringing those videos in Sunday, and that'd be the third, right? Let me see. Sunday would be wait. Okay, so the third will be Sunday. Let me see what time. Tells me right here. They tell you. Let me see. Live access at 8:31 p.m. on the third. So 8:31 p.m. on the third. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to. Oh, I wouldn't be able to bring that. You know what? Let me do this. I think I will be coming live on Sunday a little bit later on TikTok. But if I bring those videos, I'm gonna bring those videos in Tuesday. I think Tuesday. But we're gonna have to do it on TikTok. Hopefully they don't give me a strike over there, right? So yeah. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm about to get off, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I'm gonna see if I can maybe appeal this a little bit more. But once again, prepare yourselves, and I'll let you all know what I uncover when it comes to another platform and build a platform over there also. Right, build a platform over there where, and I was also thinking about getting either Sonic internet or I'm thinking about getting Starlink. Starlink is gonna. I think the Starlink runs about 120 a month for Starlink, but with Starlink the good thing is that I think using a satellite or whatever it is that's up there, using that would be very, very essential too. Because even if this internet goes down, my ground system goes out. And then if you guys have access to the internet wherever you guys are, you guys can come watch me and everything. But one of the things that I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start putting more information together that way we can I want to bring the experts or what the experts say so you guys can get a second hand and you guys can get ideas from them as well, what they're thinking, and so you guys can formulate your own conclusions as well. I like that, right? Because I mean, I can say everything, but I'm not an expert in every field, so we can bring some. I'm gonna bring those. So I think next Tuesday. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. I will see you all in the next one. Unfortunately, we're getting off a little bit early today. But we'll see you guys on Sunday. I'll probably come live around 8:30 because it says I can come live at 8:33, 8:31 on Sunday. So I'll see you all back then. All right. Y'all have a good night.